Hi, my name is Jeff Coronado from JCSE, and this is a session of Bridging the Gap. In this particular session, we're covering the area of refuge. That is part of the ADA1 sequence if you are in-house. And if you are not in-house, that's okay. Hopefully, there'll still be a thing or two that you might learn about the area of refuge. So let's move on here to a floor plan. And this is a floor plan of a structure that we are currently working on. Um, and actually, let me backtrack here for a minute, and let's talk briefly about the Americans with Disabilities Act. As we know, as most of us probably know, the Americans with Disabilities Act has been around for a long time, and it's been an incredibly useful um, or has made incredible strides at making structures more friendly to people with disabilities, different kinds of disabilities, including uh, folks that are wheelchair bound. And because of that, now our structures have elevators that accommodate people that are wheelchair bound. So the elevators themselves, the cabs themselves, all of the push buttons, all of that accommodates people that are wheelchair bound. Once they get to the different floors that they may be going to, the toilet facilities there, right? The toilet facilities accommodate people that are wheelchair bound. Um, but the thing is this, have you stopped to think about what happens if there is an emergency? If there's an emergency and the elevators are no longer functioning, let's say there's an earthquake, there's a fire, anything like that, what happens to people that are wheelchair bound then? Um, so for the rest of people, uh, I think we know that we look for stairwells, right? So we would leave these areas, go down the corridors, and find stairwells, and we would exit the structure that way. But if you are wheelchair bound, obviously you can't do that. Well, that's where the code steps in and has provisions for areas of refuge. Here. Okay, so it has provisions for areas of refuge. Um, so the area of refuge, let me clear this. Let me go back to the floor plan. The area of refuge are areas that that typically you will find them near stairwells. They don't have to be near the stairwell, but that's typically where you're going to find them. And so that is the area where people that are wheelchair bound, they would go to congregate in those areas. And that's where first responders know to go and find them and be able to lend assistance to them. So let's take a look at a couple of the things here that are covered in this particular section of the building code. So we've got the area of refuge. There is specifications on the dimensions of the area of refuge. So we see that each area of refuge is to accommodate two wheelchairs, and then it specifies the size of the wheelchair. So it's 30 by 52 inches per wheelchair. And that's actually a recent change in the building code. That used to be 30 by 48. But I guess wheelchairs were a little bit smaller when I was young. Now wheelchairs are a little bit bigger, have more features, um, have more features. So the building codes recognize that and have now allocated a greater length for the wheelchairs than in past editions. So now we have to accommodate 30 by 52 per wheelchair. Um, the number of areas of refuge is increases um, by the occupancy. So, the more people that are potentially at each floor or each building, the more areas of refuge that will be required in accordance with the building code. And lastly, what this particular section covers is that the areas of refuge are not to encroach into the means into the egress path. So if we go back to our floor plan, and let's just say that this is our area of refuge right here. Let's say this is the area of refuge. The area of refuge can't encroach into all of the other requirements, all the other clearances and so forth that are required to be able to exit the building. So the folks that are running down here, the clear distance for the door, the corridor, the stair with all of those clearances have to be maintained. They can't this area can't encroach into that, nor for that matter, the path of travel for first responders coming up the structure and into the structure, all of that has to be maintained clear um, for them as well. Um, so yeah, the area of refuge cannot reduce the means of egress or minimum widths required. Okay, so those are some of the requirements for the areas of refuge. So with that, that concludes this particular session. Please feel free to give us a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions or comments, questions, by all means, leave them. And if you enjoyed this and you found it to be helpful, sure, by all means, we invite you to subscribe to the JCSE channel. And I believe you can click on the icon on the lower right-hand corner, and that will take care of that part of it for you. Okay, real good. Thank you.